language of caring helps healthcare organizations achieve an unparalleled patient experience and a culture of caring through exceptional communication.
So I was coming down the Pennsylvania Turnpike, and I was going faster than 80 miles an hour, which you're really not supposed to do ever. And I was also approaching a construction area, which is also a double no-no. And as I came around a curve, I saw the state trooper sitting right there with the gun, the radar gun. And the minute I came into his field of vision, the gun popped down. So I knew he had me. And I just pulled right over. And I just thought, oh gosh, I'm going to be late, I'm going to miss that meeting. And as I was pulled immediately over, he had pulled out into traffic, and he had his arm out of his window, something I really had never seen before, and he really hadn't even had a chance to tap his lights on yet. And he was waving cars around him, and it just struck me in that moment, well, this was really dangerous for him. So the next thought that came into my mind as he was storming up to my car window to roll it down, he said, "Do you know how fast you were going?" And he was really upset. His head was bobbing. His body language was very angry. And the first thing that came out of my mouth is, "I'm so sorry that I just put you in danger as you came out into traffic to come chase me down. I should not have been driving that fast. And you put yourself at risk to come and stop me, and I apologize for that." And the air went completely out of his anger. And I was not trying to get out of a ticket. It hadn't occurred to me. I think the usual me prior to language of caring would have been having a thought in my mind about, why don't you go arrest a criminal? Why don't you go do something else? Why are you bothering me? I'm trying to go to my job. Well, the fact of the matter is, at that moment, I was a criminal, driving excessively fast in a construction zone. But the practice that I had been building up as a habit from teaching the classes, which was to get to neutral, clear my mind, and let my positive regard for whoever I was going to be talking to come through, first thing I thought about was absolutely very true. It came off very authentically. So a state trooper who normally would never listen to any excuse was really, I think, touched by those words. So his response back to me was, "I'm only out here to try and protect you." I said, "I'm sorry, you got put into danger to come and help me." He came back, positive regard, he came back with, "Well, I don't want you to get hurt. I've gone to the homes of 4 families this month or this quarter, to deliver bad news that their loved ones had been injured or killed in an accident. I don't want that from you." So he came right back from his heart, because I touched his heart. And I said, "And I appreciate that, and I'm sorry. I hear what you're saying. I normally don't drive this fast. I wasn't paying attention. I'm glad you stopped me. Thank you for stopping me. I shouldn't have been going so fast." And then he came back with, "I need your license and registration," which I gave him. And he handed the registration back and said, "It's not signed." So now we're in even worse trouble. I said, "My husband tells me this all the time. I appreciate you reminding me about it. I just forgot." He said, "My wife too." So I signed it and gave it back. He went away and he came back and he said, "I'm going to fine you $100 for excessive speed and $30 for the registration not being signed." But anyone who knows anything knows that really should have been upwards of $500 for each fine, doubled, because I'm in construction zone, points, court, suspension of license, a lot of other bad things. But what had happened is we made a human connection, something that I feel is very profound about the language of caring, that does creep into your everyday behavior. It's very easy to adapt it. It makes things much simpler. It makes us all much better human beings on it from a connection level, and it's easy to do. So whenever I talk to my colleagues here at the hospital and they express a little bit of concern about, "I can't bake this into what I do," I always say, "Trust me, let's work on this for a while. You're going to be so amazed at how it helps inside and outside of the hospital with your children, your loved ones, encounters you have, sudden, challenging encounters. It will help you. And over time, they come to believe it too."
It has truly transformed not only everything we do here at the hospital, but everything. Even the way I approach things in my everyday. My oldest is autistic.
In the school system, any child with a special need has, or most children do, have what they call an IEP, which is an individualized education plan. And it is a legal contract that the family has with the school district, that the school district supplies different services to the child. We have meetings once a year, and the meetings are known to be difficult. Most families who I talk to who also have IEP meetings, they all reference it as saying it's like going into a battle, because that's what it's like. It's always one side, the school wants this and the family wants this. So I was walking out the door after we had just done language of caring, and I was going into an IEP meeting where I knew it was going to be difficult because I knew ahead of time that the team was trying to take away some of the services from my son. And I was going in all prepared, I had all my data, and as I was walking out the door, Darlene turned around to me and said, "Remember, get yourself to neutral." And I very quickly turned around like, oh yeah, that'll probably be a good idea, but there's no way I'm going to be able to stay in neutral in this meeting. And I actually did stay in neutral. It took a lot. I had to literally repeat to myself over and over in my head, neutral, 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 neutral. But it transformed the conversation I had with them. I used language of caring to such a point where they didn't know what to do with me anymore. So I got to neutral, and they were expecting me to fire back when they said that to me. And I said, well, I can certainly appreciate that you work with so many different children. And here's why this data is indicative of my son's issues. They didn't give me what I wanted exactly, but they were so taken aback that I didn't fight back with them, that I think gave them a compliment, and it transformed my whole entire meeting with them. That I actually walked away with a meeting that was not exactly what I hoped for going in, but my son got what he needed because of that conversation.
Oh my gosh, I use them all the time at home. I say they're like Jedi mind tricks, because my kids, they don't know why they're doing everything I need them to do. They're just doing it. And, I have my moments where I'll think back, I'm like, yeah, I didn't really, that wasn't so language of caring. And then I have to rephrase myself. But, that first step of getting to neutral in a situation is key. And it is a skill. You have to practice it, and you have to be conscientious of it, and not reacting to a situation, but acting. And getting to neutral helps you to be able to get your mindset. I have a almost 18-year-old who has no health issues. She's just 18, and that's enough. And so a lot of it is saying to her, you know what, give me a minute to think about this, and then let me get my thoughts together, and then we'll chat. And so I'll do that, and sometimes it takes a little while. It's not like an instantaneous, okay, I'm at neutral, let's go. So, but once you take that first step, it really does help guide the conversation. I do a lot of acknowledging feelings with a teenager. I know you want to go to that party. I know you want to drive on the turnpike. I know, and then using a lot more of the positive intent. And, here's my role as your mom, and helping you to be the best that you can be, and putting you in an unsafe situation is not okay. And I'm sorry that's not what you want to hear. I say that a lot. I'm sorry, this is not what you want to hear. Here's the reality of the situation. And again, she doesn't like it all the time, but she understands where I'm coming from, and will have at some point come back to say, yeah, I think you were right about that. And I'm like, I know. So it's just helped significantly in our ability to collaborate and, be a better parent.